Okay, so we are going to study NCERT series for geography, and we are going to complete it by today itself. So starting with class 6 NCERT, the earth or habitat. So in this we have a number of forwards given here that National Curriculum Framework 2005 recommends that the life of children must not be linked only to the school but should also link to the outside school, and it will depend on the to pursuing the imaginative activity and the questions. Okay, they will ask. So we must have to recognize that given a space, time and freedom, children generate new knowledge from engaging them into various activities. Now if we treat children as a participant in learning, not as a receiver of the fixed body of knowledge, then we will definitely um, make some changes in the life of the people at large. Now coming to the next, we have the Constitution of India, that has a preamble that we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens about the justice that will consist of social, economic and political justice. Then we have the liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. This is all about the preamble which we adopted, and it had come from the objective resolution which have been moved by Jawaharlal Nehru. So, making it a small comment on this, we will have a greater amount of discussion in the polity section of NCERT. So, starting with it, chapter number 1. It says the earth in the solar system. So it says that it is wonderful to watch the sky after sunset. So it seems that the sky is studded with a diamond because all stars are twinkling. So they simply glow without any flicker. There are some objects which simply glow without any flickering to them, just as moon shines. So this is what they says. Now we can observe the full moon, that is Purnima, and after a fortnight, that is after 14 days, we can see a new moon, that is called Amavasya. So in on the day of Amavasya, the night sky looks better because of a clear night, clear vision. So this is what we have. So coming to the next, it makes a definition of the celestial bodies. It makes the sun, moon and all the objects shining in the night sky are all called celestial bodies, and these are very big and hot. They live they emit a large amount of you know they emit a large amount of energy and light, and they are called stars, and the sun is a star at large. Now we have countless twinkling stars in the night sky are similar to the sun, but we do not feel their heat and light as they look so tiny because they are very far from us. So this is what it mentioned. Now coming to the next, we have the various patterns formed by the different groups of stars. These are called constellation. Now Ursa Major, our big bear, is one of such constellation, and one of the most easily recognizable constellation is the Saptarishi, that is known as a group of 7 stars that forms a part of Ursa Major. One thing that I'd like to mention you that Ursa Major is one of the biggest, third biggest, constellation in the sky. Along with it had 135 stars in their constellation. So this is what it mentions. Now coming to the next, we have we have Ursa Minor also. It is also located on the Polaris. So this is why we have Ursa Minor consists of 23 stars, and then we had in the ancient time people used to determine the direction during the night sky and during the night with the help of stars. So the north star indicates the north direction. It is also known as pole star. It will always remain in the same position in the night sky. So the pointed star could be the part of Saptarishi we can use as a pointing star to the north star. So this is what it mentions. Now we can look at the position of the pole star with the help of Saptarishi. Now there are some celestial bodies who do not emit their own heat and light, and they are lit by the light of others. Such bodies are called as planets. The word planet comes from the Greek word plante, which means wanderer, and the Earth in on the planet in which we live, it gets all the heat and light from the sun, and which is one of our nearest star at least. So this is what we have now. The solar system, the sun and 8 planets along with satellite and other celestial body known as asteroid and meteorites known as the solar system. Now the sun and 8 planets, because we have sun here, then we had Mercury, then we have Venus, then we have Earth, then we have Mars. One thing is very clear, that the sizes increases with with distance from the sun. While one of the features we should note it down here, with Mercury, the Venus increases, then Earth increases. But up to the Earth, it is okay. This pattern follows. But after Earth, Mars size get decreases. So unique feature is that it's get decreases. So we have a unique position here on the Mars. So we should note it down and take a point of out of it. Then also these 4 planets are also known as uh, the Earth-like planet, and these are known as Jupiter-like planet. Okay, they have a hard surface here, but they have gaseous atmosphere here. So this is what it known as. So this Earth-like planet known as Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. We have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They are known as Jupiter-like planet because they have gaseous and asteroid and meteorites built around, surrounded around them. Now coming to some facts. Coming to the facts, we have Mercury, which revolves around the Sun in 88 days, and it's had one spin on the 59 days. Now we have on the Earth, we have 365 days, one orbit around the Sun. Then we had one spin on its axis on the 1 days. Okay, number of moon we have one, and we have number of moon on the Mars we have 2. Okay, and it takes around 687 days to complete one revolution around the sun. Then we had a spin on its axis is 1 day, so it's similar to the days of the Earth. So this is why we are planning to have a shift on the Mars, but we will have some amount of future plans for this. Now we have Jupiter's. It's a number of moon that is 16. It mentioned here. We have Saturn, that is number of moon is 18. Uranus, we have about 17 number of moons. Then we had Neptune, we have 8 number of moons. So at large, it according to this idea, we have one of the highest number of moon in the Saturn. Then one of the greatest year to take revolution around the sun is of the Neptune, which takes about 164 years. When we consider about the lowest days to revolve around the sun is Mercury, that took 88 days. So this is what all the things were. Now this is making a difference between the inner planet. They are close to our sun, and they are made up of rocks, and they are very far from the sun, and they are huge planet and made up of gases and liquid. So this is what it means. And now we have some mythology associated with it, like we have Sol in Roman mythology, and it is known as sun god, and solar means that is related to the sun. So the family of the sun is therefore called as solar system. So this is what the mythology, a mythological interpretation of the solar system. Now coming to the next, we have the sun. The sun is in the center of the solar system, and it provides the pulling force that binds the solar system. And the sun is the ultimate source of heat and light for the solar system. Okay, so because of this, only the life survives on the earth. So the tremendous heat is not felt because we are being the nearest star. It is the being the nearest star of earth. It is far away from us. So the sun is about 150 kilometer. That is not important to remember. Now coming to the various words, that many words in a language may have been taken from some other language. In geography particularly, we have the Greek word "g" that meaning earth and graphia that means writing. So we used to know that measurement of the earth, geometry, geology, that is the study of the earth, that is geoid, that is assembling the shape of the earth from assembling the shape or form of the earth. Geography is the study of the writing about the earth. So this is what the hell this is what the word origin means. Now we have planets. There are 8 planets in our solar system, including we have easiest way to memorizing the tricks has been given that my very efficient mother just served us nuts. So this will constitute Mercury, then we have Venus, then we have Earth, then we have Mars, then we have Jupiter, then we have Saturn, then we have Uranus, then we have Neptune. So Neptune will consider to be the one of the lengthiest day for the revolution around the sun. Then we had Saturn, which seems to be one of the greatest number of moon. Then we have Mercury, that is the lowest number of days to revolve around the sun. Then we had Earth and Mars. They both are taking 1 day to take a spin on its axis. Then we had these 4 are considered to be the inner planet. Then we had considered to be the Jovian planet. So these are some differences between them, and we can remember it out from my very efficient mother just serve us nuts. So this was a trick given there. Now we have the objects, all the 8 planets who revolve around the sun in a fixed path, and these paths are elongated and known as orbits. So this is what it mentioned, and Venus is considered to be the Earth's twin because of its shapes and size are very much similar to the Earth. So this is what it mentioned. Now Pluto is considered till recently as a planet, but Astronomical Union in International Astronomical Union, a decision was taken that Pluto, like other celestial object, is called as dwarf planet. So this is what they decided to do. Now coming to the Earth. The Earth is the third nearest planet to the Sun in the size, and it is the fifth largest planet in the solar system. And it is slightly flattened at a pole. So this is what it mentioned. This is why its shape is described as geoid. That means the Earth-like shape. Now, there are some conditions which are favorable to support the life and are probably found only on the Earth. The Earth is neither too hot nor too cold. It has water and air, which is very essential for our survival. So these are some conditions which makes the Earth, appear for the life. The air has wait, why this is okay? This is not going to remove. Okay. Now coming to the next, the air has life-supporting gases like oxygen. Because of this reason, the Earth has a unique planet in our solar system. Now, from the outer space, the Earth appears to be blue because it has 2/3 surface covered by the water and also known as blue planet. So this is what we have. Now it's mentioned about the traveling of the light with a speed of 3 lakh kilometer per second. So light of sun takes about 8 minutes to reach. So we can imagine the distance between them. So this is what it mentioned. Now coming to the moon, that our Earth has only one satellite, that is the moon, and its diameter is only 1/4 of the Earth. So diameter is something that is 1/4 of the Earth, and then it appears to be big because it is nearer to our planet than other celestial bodies. It is about 3 lakh 84,000 kilometers away from us, and we can compare the distance by the Earth from the Sun and from the Moon. So the Sun is very much, it 3 lakh per kilometer second. That is the light travels, and it takes 8 minutes, while the 3,84,000 kilometers it is whole. So this is what the difference they are making out. Then we had the moon moves around the earth in 27 days, and it takes exactly at the same time to complete one spin. As a result, the only one side of the moon is visible to us on the earth, so they are concerned with it. Then we had the moon does not have a condition favorable for the life. It's neither water, it neither has air, so it has mountains there developed and plains and depression on its surface. They cast shadow on the moon surface, and they look the when we look at the full moon we can observe this shadow. Now some points have been mentioned here, that Neil Armstrong was the first man who stepped on the surface of the moon on 21st of July 1969. So this is what it mentioned. Now we have also Indian man who is Rakesh Sharma, who also gone to the sky and the moon. So we have mentioned about. Now a satellite is a celestial body that moves around the planet in a way as planets move around the sun. So satellite is for the planets are revolving around the sun, and satellites are revolving around the planet. So this is what it means. And now we have a human made satellite is designed by the scientists to gather information about the universe or for the communication. So it is carried out by the rocket, which is placed in the orbit around the earth. So this is what I mentioned. We have various series of satellite like INSAT, IRS and EduSat. So this is what it mentioned. Now coming to the, we have asteroids. Asteroids are the part apart from the stars. We have planets and satellite. Okay, and there are numerous tiny bodies which also moved around the sun. These bodies are called asteroids. They are found between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, and scientists are of the view that asteroids are the planet, are the part of the planet who exploded years back. So this is what says. Now we have meteoroids. These are also a small piece of rock which moves around the sun and are called meteoroids. Sometimes these meteoroids come near the earth and tends to drop upon it. And during this process, friction generated, and sometimes they burn in the air itself. So there is a flash of light. Sometimes a meteor, without being completely burned, falls on the earth and creates a hollow. So this is what they mention. Asteroids is a belt that between the Jupiter and Mars, and they are revolving around the sun, while meteorites are rocks which are moving around the sun itself. So this is what the difference between them. And then we have a whitish broad band like a structure glowing with a glowing path in the clear starry night, and this band is of the Milky Way galaxy. This is a band of Milky Way galaxy. Okay, this our solar system is a part of this galaxy. So this is what the Milky Way looks like. Then we have in ancient India, it was imagined the river of light is flowing in the night sky. This is what it names as Akash Ganga. Now coming to the, a galaxy is a huge system of billions of stars and cloud of dust and gases. There are millions of such galaxies that makes the universe. It is difficult to imagine how big the universe it is in itself. Scientists are still trying to find about this. We have various theories about that the universe is either expanding or there come a time when they will collapse. So there are a number of temple setting theory and all. So we will have this discussion in the latter if they mention about it. Then also if not, then we will have a separate lecture on that. Then coming to the next, we have the globes, latitude and longitude. It measures that globe is a true model or miniature form of the earth, that is a small one. If when we going to study in the history section, we will see the miniature painting which have been used by scribes to describe their writing. So this is what we will do, interactive learning and integrated learning. Now when we will see that needle is fixed through the globe in a tilted manner, it is called axis. So axis definition is something that is needle which is fixed in a tilted manner. So this is what the axis constitute of. So this is the axis and this is orbit. If you consider on a large scale, then it is like this. Now We have 2 points on the globe which the needle passes are known as the 2 poles, that is North Pole and South Pole. Okay, like this is known as, this will be known as a North Pole, and then we will have South Pole. Okay, so this is what they mention. Then northern half, sorry, half. Now it moves around the axis, which is an imaginary line. The real Earth has no any such needles. Now another imaginary line running on the globe divides into two equal parts, and this line is known as equator. Okay, the northern half of the Earth and the northern hemisphere, known as northern hemisphere, and the southern hemisphere known as southern hemisphere. Southern half is known as southern hemisphere. So they both are the equal half. So this is about the equator. It's also an imaginary line which is drawn on the surface of the earth, and this is known as northern hemisphere, and below it this is south, this is known as southern hemisphere. So this is what it mentioned. Now coming to the next, all the parallel circle from the equator up to the poles are called as parallels of latitude. Latitudes are circular line parallel to the equator. So this is what this is mentioned. Now we have various degree of latitude, which is measured on the distance from the equator or center of the core of the earth, and they are represented in a degree, okay, from the core of the earth, and this is what they have divided into various circles. And particularly, since the distance from the equator to either of the pole is 1/4 of the circle, that is around that it will consist of 1/4 degree, 360 degree, that is 90 degree. So let us imagine that it is a circle. Okay, it's making a tough one. So let us imagine this is a circle. Okay, so this circle, we have to change the color of the circle. Okay, this is circle, and if you consider this one to this one, okay, and if it is the center of the circle, then what it constitute? It constitute the pole. If it is a north pole, then it is a 90 degree of the 90 degree to the from the surface of the from the core of the earth, and this 90 degree constitute on the constitute the equator, and then it's a degree value which is mentioning here on the cells, and this is why we have various measures like 20 degree, 40 degree, 60 degree, 80 degree, and etc. We have mentioned here. Now coming to the next, we have the value of sorry, all such parallel to the north is called as north latitude, and all the parallels which are south of the equator are called as south latitude. This is what it mentioned, and each value of latitude is therefore followed by either the word north or south because of division between the equator. Now we have Chandrapur in Maharashtra, okay, and Belo Horizonte in Brazil, located on the 20 degrees north and south latitude. This is what they mention. Now coming to the point that is very important, that do you know that by measuring the angle of the pole star from your place, you can imagine the latitude of your palace. So this is what we say, latitude is the angular distance from the sun or from the core of the earth, so we can measure by the pole star itself. Now coming to the next, we have important parallels of latitude. They are known as Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degree north. Then we have the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degree south. Then we have Arctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree north. And then we have Antarctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree south. So this is what we have. We have freeze zone, north temperate zone, we have torrid zone. Various zones have been also divided here, like if you see that from the equator up to the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5, this is known as torrid zone. It's one of the hottest zone because sun directly is between them, and also equally for the same Tropic of Capricorn up to that. Then we have Tropic of Cancer up to the Arctic Circle, that is north temperate zone. This is known as temperate zone. So here the sun is slightly slopy, and it is a very to an extent moderate weather. Then we have freeze zone. Here it is comes the uh, various ice and the region where there is no any sun which reaches for the 6 months. So this is where some north poles here, and they are freeze zone because of the ice cover, because lights do not penetrate here. So this is why we have the heat zones on the of the earth. The midday sun is exactly which is overhead on the once in a year on all latitude between the Tropic of Cancer up to Tropic of Capricorn. So okay, this is the area which receives the maximum heat, and it is called as torrid zone. So we have this one. Now the midday sun never shines overhead to any latitude beyond the Tropic of Cancer or the Capricorn. So the angle of sun decreases with the decreasing towards the pole. So as a result, the area bounded by the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn to the Antarctic Circle receives have a moderate temperature, and these are known as temperate zone. So this is what the explanation. Now we have, they are providing the experiment of it. So if one wants it to know, then we can have this. Now, and below the after the Arctic Circle, the slanting rays of the sun only provides less heat, and therefore they are known as freeze zone, that is very cold zone. Now coming to the longitudes. Longitudes are the line of reference running from the North Pole to the South Pole. This is where running from North Pole to the South Pole. So this is what they mention, and they are known as meridians of longitude. And along with that, and distance between them are measured in a degree of longitude. Okay, each degree is further divided into minutes and minutes into seconds. They are semicircle because they divide the earth into two equal halves itself. Every latitude divides the longitudes divide the earth into two equal half itself. Now we have this semicircle distance between them and decrease steadily towards the pole. Like if you move from equator to here, so if you see the two are meeting here, so the distance between them are varying from from equator up to the poles. While if you consider about this is one, there is no such any difference between them. Okay, so this is what the things they are mentioning about. Now coming to the next, we have these lines of reference are called the meridian of longitude, and distance decreases with the degree of they are measured with the pole. Now one of the, like parallels of latitude, all meridians are equal in the length, so it was difficult to number the meridians. Hence all the country decided that the count should begin from the meridian which is passed through the Greenwich, okay, where the British Royal Observatory is located, and this is known as meridians. This is known as prime meridian. Okay, so this is what they mention, and it is considered to be the 0 degree of latitude. And if we count 180 degree from here, okay, in a one round, and then we can count 180 from this one round. So this is what they mention. And then we have the therefore we know the longitude of the place is followed by the letter of the east and west of the prime meridian. So this is known as the east of the prime meridian, this is known as the west of prime meridian. If you are in the east of prime meridian, because of the sun revolves from west to east, Okay, so this is why the eastern places, are ahead of time, and they are, uh, you know, they are uh, okay, they are negative to the time. Then we had, if you look at the grid which we had made here, the latitude and meridians of the longitude on the globe, you can find out any point very easily. So it's locating a point here on the graph. To understand this clearly, equidistant vertical and horizontal line on the paper, and they are making an experiment out of it. We need not to remember. Then coming to the next, we have the Greenwich line here located, and then we have international date line. From this we complete the 12-hour circle, and this is why they are making a date line here. So uh, if we go here, then we will have a plus 12 hour. Then if you go here, then we will lose minus 12 hours. So this is about the things we have mentioned about. It passes mostly from the Pacific, and this is from the North America, this is South America, and this is Alaska region, I think. So coming to the next, we have longitude and time. The best means to measure time is by the movement of the Earth, the Moon, and the planet. And the sun regularly rises and sets every day, and naturally, it is the best timekeeper throughout the world. Local times can be reckoned by the shadow cast by the sun, which is shortest at the noon time, and longest at the sunrise. So by observing the cast shadow, we can calculate the time. Okay. Now, when the prime meridian of the Greenwich has the sun at the highest point in the sky, all the places along this meridian will have the midday or the noon. So, if you have prime meridian or the sun is on this line itself, then we have the same noon or evening at that places itself. So this is what we have. Now the earth rotates from the west to east. Those places who are east of the Greenwich will be ahead of the Greenwich time. Those who are west will be behind of it. So this is what they mentioned, and the earth rotates to 360 degree in 24 hours. So 1 minute equal to 4 minutes. So those who are ahead 15 minutes of the east, then they are 16 minute ahead of the Greenwich time. So this is what they mentioned. Now why do we have some standard time? Because our longitudinal extension, we are very vast country, like if we consider the India, then we have longitudes of meridian that extend from the 68 degree to 97 degree. So it is approx 30 degree. Okay, so if we consider the 30 degree of the difference between the Gujarat to the northeastern region, then uh, we have to consider about the considering the 4. It means that we could have a difference from here to here of 2 hours. So uh, for making a coordination between the peoples along the borders, we can have some standard meridian to be chosen as a standard timeline. So this is what we have 82.5 degree, which is chosen as a standard timeline. So like the local time of place may differ from meridian to meridian. So if you consider India, there will be a difference about 1 hour 45 minutes from the Dwarka in the Gujarat to Dibrugarh in Assam. So it is necessary that local time of the some central meridian of a country adopting these things and standard time for the country in itself. So this is what we have. Now coming to the next, we have a number of examples here, like India is located east of the Greenwich and had 82.5 degree of meridian time, and this is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of the Greenwich meridian time, while Russia, which had many 11 time standard, and the earth is divided into 24 time zones, 1 hour of each. So each zone is divided into 15 minutes of longitude. So this is what the things were. Now coming to the motion of the earth. The motion of the earth, like rotation is the movement of the earth on its axis, and then we have the revolution, that is the rotation. Revolution is the movement of earth on on a fixed path around the sun. Now we have already done that axis is imaginary line which passes from the north pole to south pole. The axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degree from the orbital plane. So we have to very much clear that it is the orbital plane on which the it revolves around the sun, and the plane formed by the orbit is known as orbital plane. The earth receives light from the sun. Due to the spherical shape, half of it gets light at one point of time, then a half other. So the portion which is experiencing the light of the sun, and they glow, and while those who are facing not facing the light of the sun, then they have night here. So the portion which are facing the circle divides the day and night. This is the circle which divides the earth day and night, and this is where we can say this is this is known as circle of illumination, and they do not coincide with the axis, because see, this is axis, but they are here. So beyond axis also there is light, so they do not coincide with the axis itself. This is what they're making. The earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis, and the period of rotation is known as earth day, and this is the daily motion of the earth. So coming to the next, we have like what would happen if the earth did not rotate. Okay, so these are some imaginative activity, and if they do not rotate, then definitely there will be some amount of gravitational force which will work, and they will pull the earth towards them, and everything will destroy. The portion of earth facing the sun would always experience the day, and thus bringing the continuous warmth to the region, and the other half would remain in the darkness and be freezing cold at all the time. So life would not have been possible without in such an extreme condition. So if if we consider two things, there are revolution and there is rotation. Okay, so rotation is on its own axis, and they are doing it at their own, while the revolution is from to the sun, and these are essential things to do, while rotation is something that will help the planet to you know to face the sunlight side by side. So like if earth moves here, like here, it will face the light all the point of them. Okay, while if you consider the revolution, then we will have the earth will revolve around the sun itself. So if they have the motion of rotation, then they have some amount of light here, and these lights will be very much useful for the life, because life could not be possible in the extreme condition itself. So the second motion of the earth is known as on its orbit, known as revolution, and it takes 365 and 1.5 days. So 1/4, 365 and 1/4 of days to revolve around the sun. We consider a year as consisting of 365 days only, and ignore the 6 hour for the sake of convenience, and this 6 hour of each year were added to the next for the next 4 years, and there come the leap year in which we have 366 days. So this is our dimension. Now coming to the next, we have okay, various position of the earth and their effect, like we have